The legend of W.D. Gaster has been told by many, a skeleton fragmented across time. His name is assumed to stand for Wingdings, or Aster, or a combination of the two. But what if I told you none of that was true? Or at least isn't the entire truth we're looking for? Today, we explored the true origins of the Mystery Man, and the darker secrets he may be hiding. Determination is something we as players know little about. All we know is it acts as the human's will to continue going, similar to adrenaline. But determination works even after death. However, that may be an oversimplification for a much more mysterious force. And it turns out we aren't the only one who wants to know more. A mysterious figure by the name of Gaster wanted to know more of this power. More of the power he possessed. Because I don't simply come here to claim that Gaster isn't as straightforward as we think, but that he isn't what you think at all. What if Gaster was a human, just like Frisk and the other 7 souls? But first, we must take a step back. We know that every human is gifted with some level of determination, and while Frisk is said to be the most determined soul, it doesn't mean that others aren't curious about its nature. W.D. Gaster could have been one of those curious souls, researching his own soul, his own determination. To do this, he would have to turn his soul into something with its own physical form, its own vessel, so Gaster could experiment without harming himself. To do this, I believe he had to have built a machine, very similar possibly to the DT machine that we see in-game. Some kind of device that could siphon determination from humans, turning it into a corporeal form. And this theory isn't too divorced from the game itself. See, whenever you fight Asgore, you find him with multiple containers, each of which holds its soul. But these souls aren't just the symbolic souls that we use in the game, but actual physical souls, possibly harvested by either the DT machine or some earlier prototype of it made by Gaster. But this begs the question, how did Gaster survive the removal of his own soul, but the other humans didn't? This answer is honestly pretty simple. Gaster never wanted to give himself up. He didn't want to lose his life entirely. So, of course, he left himself with just enough determination to continue surviving, and even enough to remain human. But it seems he might have miscalculated just a little bit, and got a little more than he bargained for, leaving him with only a tiny amount of determination, just enough to cling to his life, but not enough to quite remain human. And so his transformation began, his skin stripped from bone, that is, if he's even a skeleton at all, until he became less than human. The rest of mankind wouldn't have him, and as this is very possibly before the monsters were sealed away, he may have simply joined the monsters and was sealed away into the underground with the rest of them. But Gaster didn't just go silently. He tried to get his humanity back. The siphon determination may not be usable anymore for any number of reasons we can only guess at the moment, but possibly something similar to the amalgamates with the DT machine. So, of course, he tried bringing his determination back, and the experiments can still be felt today. In Undertale's pacifist route, you can come across experiments relating to determination, most notably the amalgamates. But we also come across the DT, or Determination Extraction Machine, a possible successor to Gaster's first machine, or possibly even the one he used on himself. But this machine is also used to inject determination into other monsters, most notably the Amalgamates, and maybe, just maybe, Gaster himself. The Goners say that Gaster fell into his own creation, but never which one he fell into. Sure, the core is mentioned in this same exact dialogue sequence, but it doesn't mean that it was 100% the core that ripped Gaster across time. So here I'll give you both of these possibilities. The first one is that he did fall into the core, but luckily with the small amount of determination he had left, he managed to cling to life, but became shattered across time in the process. Or he did die due to the DT machine, turning him into what is only known now as the Mystery Man, a melted figure all too similar to the Amalgamates, but with a special control over timelines that we only know a fraction of the power. But either way, we know it's true. WD Gaster was disfigured even further than he already was, and shattered across time and space. Now this isn't all the evidence I've collected. First off, let's start with his name, WD Gaster. It's oftentimes referenced as a very big point of lore with the font link that people have made to maybe him being a skeleton, using the same formula as Papyrus and Sans. Now, I was starting to believe that WD doesn't necessarily stand for Wingdings, but it's rather a mirror of the title MD. If you don't already know, MD is the title appended at the back of names, meaning, of course, Doctor of Medicine. Looking at WD now, it looks like a mirrored version of the Doctor's title. Not only is the M flipped to make a W, but also moved from the end of the name to the beginning. So, now the question still stands. If MD is Doctor of Medicine, then what does WD really stand for? So, this has been my absurd theory of the origins of Gaster. If you didn't already know, when this video is posted, Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 will be newly accessible. So of course, there will be a ton to learn about our mysterious friend in the coming days. But with that, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys down in the comment section.